Money, episode number 4. My name is Linda Xie. This is the first episode that I will be conducting everything in English. Reason being that I am interviewing somebody very special today, and he is an American. We all love Americans. Anyway, so last episode, we talked about how to do self-promotion as a musician. However, I figured that there's no better way to know about the nuances in doing that than talking to a real-life example. My guest today, he is a violist. That's right, you heard that right, a violist. He is a Juilliard grad, and he is now one of the most prolific social media content creator out there as a classical music brand. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it and make sure you listen to the end because we're going to be playing some really sweet music made by him. Hope you enjoy!
Now I'm recording. Now I'm being picked up. Yay!
Okay, good. Let's just start. Why don't we?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, welcome to Make Music, Make Money. We're so happy to have you here. Drew Alexander Ford, ThatViolaKid.
What's up, Linda?
Not much. Pretty good. Where are you at?
I'm in Los Angeles. I'm quarantined in my bedroom. And I'm fulfilling a lifelong dream that I realized isn't all that lit. You know, when I was a kid, I was like, I wish I could just, stay in my room all day.
There you
That'd
go.
be so great.
Yeah.
Now I do, and I'm like, this actually ain't that lit.
Well, we're very happy to have you on because we have a lot of musicians out there, look up to you, and they're so just admiring what you have right now. You are a content creator, you're an influencer, but I know we've known each other for a while. I know you don't get there just like that. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of navigating, a lot of negotiating and learning and, all of those things. So tell us who you are, and then when did you start your, social media journey?
So my name is Drew Alexander Ford. I am 28 years old, single. I walks on the beach. No, I'm from Peachtree City, Georgia. It's known as the land of golf carts for people who have visited it and people who have grown up there. We have hundreds of miles of interlocking golf cart paths.
Wow.
And little did I know that this wonderful, idyllic community was the testing grounds for my eventual, the development of my independence when it comes to the way that I think, the way that I act in both the digital and the real world. And so just being able to drive a golf cart and go on dates and go to the store and do all that stuff at 13 or 14 years old by myself was huge. So just from a very young age, we were able to do what we wanted and be a little bit more free.
Yeah.
Cell phones helped. But I think that sort of upbringing and the way the can-do-itness my mom instilled in me really allowed me to pursue difficult things. One of those things is viola. And I did all the things I needed to do. I practiced. I finally got a private teacher when I was in freshman year of high school.
Wow.
Auditioned for youth orchestras. And gained a medium amount of success when it comes to this in high school, and then had some trials and tribulations my final year of school that made me question whether or not I wanted to do it and pursue it as a career. Because, as we all know, music is not for the faint at heart, and it's not for those who want to seek financial security quickly, right? It's possible, but it takes a lot, and a lot of times it's just dead ends. But the possibility for success and the ceiling for success is unlimited. And just knowing that my ceiling for success was unlimited, that is enough to really, really motivate me, because it's much easier when you get a job. It's much easier to blame your bad life situations on your employer. It's much easier to have a scapegoat. But when you're an entrepreneur, you are forced to look at yourself in the mirror. If you're not making money, it's your fault. It's the way you marketed the product. Maybe it's the veracity of the product. Does it actually solve people's problems? And when you were confronted like that, it's kind of like viola, you know, this movement of the quartet was out of tune. Must have been my fault. I think that's the sort of mentality that really engenders a lifetime of growth. And so that's why I chose the entrepreneurial path, because I'm never satisfied with good enough. I always want to get better.
Interesting that you said that. Yeah.
So
who told you about this
go ahead.
entrepreneurial path that you could be on if you were a violist?
Well, it first started with Robert McDuffie. He's a Juilliard graduate from Macon, Georgia. And my junior year of Atlanta Symphony Youth Orchestra, I was playing in the ASYO. Second chair. And Robert McDuffie, who had just started a program a couple years prior at Mercer University in Macon, Georgia, was at my orchestra, and he was talking about his school. He was talking about how it's focused on entrepreneurship. It is full tuition to those who apply and accepted and commit. Full tuition. Conservatory level training. So while I was there, I studied with Sabina Thatcher and Paul Murphy, both principal and assistant principals of their respective orchestras. Then I got Becca Albers, who's the principal of the Minnesota Orchestra, and Lawrence Dutton, who's the violist of the Emerson String Quartet. Right. And I had coachings with David Halen and Julie Albers and just so many well-accomplished entrepreneurial musicians. He showed me the path that, like, you could play chamber music, you could play orchestras, you could solo, you could have your own projects, you could start your own school. You could do anything with your music if you find a way to solve people's problems and give value to customers. Wow. So, but he never phrased it like that. And entrepreneurship is hard to teach because it's such a broad topic. Like, everything that you learn can be helpful to your entrepreneurship. It's kind of like, it's like a skill like, what's another really translatable skill? I guess logic. Like having basic logic. Math can teach you logic. Math can teach you the principles of logic, but logic extends way beyond math, right? I think entrepreneurship is similar to that.
Yeah, I would agree. It's an extensive of skill set that you combine together and use it the way that you needed to use it. Definitely. Yeah.
There's no one way. There are a billion ways to do it. Exactly. Essentially, when I started was when I was in this program. And I was a junior, and I really hadn't learned that much about entrepreneurship yet, but I did learn a lot about viola, and that's what I cared about most, you know. But then I had this, like, existential crisis of, like, if I want to be a musician, how to make money as a musician? Okay, I have to have an audience. How do I build an audience? Crickets.
It is pretty hard, especially as a violist. Yeah.
Look, and that's what I tell people, like, look, if I can build a brand as one of the most underestimated instruments in the world, like, anybody can do it, right? But it's a combination of understanding the market and being an early mover in the space. Because there are some things like now trying to go viral on Instagram or Twitter. Good luck. Everybody's on it already. So it's important to keep your eyes open for new platforms.
Yeah. Okay. Well, can you tell us when you started your game in social media? Yeah.
I started, so officially, it was September 29th, 2013. It was my birthday. My first ever Instagram picture with my best friends at my mom's graduation of her getting her master's. It's a low angle selfie with me and my friend. We both got double chins because I'm a professional. Remember, I started and I knew everything already.
Totally. Double chin. Guess the likes.
Oh yeah. Hey, look. I think I posted that and I got like 4 likes, and I was like, holy. Is it okay to curse?
Curse away, man.
I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. I got 4 people liked my shit. Oh my God.
Oh,
You know?
Yeah.
And then one day I got 10 likes about a month later, and you no longer saw the names, because remember, if it's under 10 likes, you see the name of everybody who liked it.
Yeah.
But if it's above 10, it's just a number. Like, that was huge for me. I was like, oh my God, can I get 20? Can I get 20? Because here's the deal, when you first start, nobody cares. That's the one thing that people don't realize. Like, when you start building something, nobody cares. None of your friends are going to watch it. Your family's not going to watch it. Like, they will, even if they love you, they're going to do it begrudgingly because nobody cares. And you're bad. Okay? And this is where most people stop.
Yeah.
Because that's uncomfortable.
But you kept going.
You got to keep going.
Yeah.
You got to make it a part of your identity. And so I did.
So how many platforms are you on? You're on Instagram, you're on YouTube. Are you on Facebook? Do you have a fan page? And then are you on TikTok?
Pinterest. I am on TikTok, except ThatViolaKid was taken, so oh snap, it's TVK.
Oh my God, ThatViolaKid is taken, man.
Because I was late. I was too late on TikTok.
I see. And then, so now your life is managing all of these platforms.
Yeah. What my life is now, Linda, is it's a weird combination of freelance and this social media marketing thing. So most of my day is just answering emails and editing content for clients.
Are you a one-man shop? So do you hire anybody to do your editing, mixing?
I do everything. That's
you
part
do
of
it all by yourself.
I do everything. I've been doing everything the whole time.
Wow.
There are times when I'll have a roommate ask me to take a picture, like that pizza box picture I did a little while ago. I had my roommate help me with that.
I saw that. That was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. We ate so much pizza.
So are you saying that you're rather a fast learner in these digital stuff, equipment and stuff like that? Because some people they just don't, they can't handle all that much.
I wouldn't say I'm a fast learner. I just didn't stop, Linda. Like, I started remember September 29th, 2013. Right. And so every day since then, I've been kind of like figuring out, how do I get better at this? Like,
right.
But I think the most important thing to do is just to do the thing. Yeah. Just do it and sit in the fact that it's not as good as you want it to be, not as good as you envisioned it in your brain, and put it out anyway, because that's just like it's just like your recital. Like, it's not like you get a redo on your recital. You mess up at your recital, tough luck, okay? But then you realize, oh, my whole career is just recitals. I just play in front of people. And then the volume. We talked about this on my podcast with my friend Ken Kubota about just being prolific and putting out a lot of content, because over time it'll just get better. And there's really no shortcut. Yeah. Like, no songwriter, no musician, no filmmaker. Their early stuff sucks. But what I'm finding is that it's important to build the infrastructure and start new platforms early. The skills you gain from a platform that even fails are still valuable.
I guess what you meant by starting early is that when a platform comes out, sign up, get yourself registered. Yeah,
try it. Because the skills that you gain are going to be helpful. Like, I think a lot of people think they waste time, but if you use Instagram Live just for fun, it makes you better at streaming, which then could change into a pivot into going into Twitch, where people actually donate to see you do stuff live. Like, on Instagram, you can't make money. It's just a quick way to interact with people. But you can create entire live shows like John Mayer, and not only increase your brand depth and the connection to your audience, but you can also have content that keeps people in your mind. Because here's the deal. Coca-Cola doesn't buy ads. They don't buy ads in order to sell you anything. Like, people who buy Coke are already sold on Coke. Coke just buys ads to occupy your brain space so that one of the 3 times a day when you're having a meal, you think about, instead of water, what if I just do a Coke? Because we are always making decisions. So when you're in marketing and when you want people to make different decisions that actually enrich your life by choosing your products and services, you have to tell your story as much as possible.
So do you take that as being as visible as you can, meaning that you post as regularly as possible?
That only works if you already control the market. Coca-Cola controls the market. Pepsi is the secondary player. Like if you look at the laws of marketing in any industry or any niche, there will only be 2 players that have 90% of the market share. Like that is just one of the immutable laws of marketing. And so if you look at that and you look at your space, are there musicians doing what you do already? And are they bigger than you? If so, if you want to be bigger than them, you're going to have to take market share away from them. People will already love and adore them, already aware of them. And you have the audacity to think that you can convince them to stop following that person and follow you instead. That's not the right way to look about it. You have to look at what you put out into the world, not by quantity, but quality. And by quality, I mean, what does it say about you that is unique about you that people can't find anywhere else? Because if they can find it somewhere else, they will, especially if you aren't first. That's the most important thing, being first, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think that's a great segue because I have another question for you, is that how do you figure out what your audiences are looking from you, from your channel? Meaning, how do you position yourself? How do you strategize that?
Well, I mean, when it comes to choosing content and things like that, first of all, it changes when you mature as a content creator because you kind of get into the groove of things. And then what I recommend people do is you develop a series. That's easy to produce, that's fun to produce, and you just do that consistently for 90 days, right? Whether it's once a week, whether it's every day, just do it for 90 days, see what happens, because if people enjoy it or if they hate it, they'll let you know. And then that's when you put on your armor and you see, okay, are people being mean or are they being helpful in terms of telling me where the things they don't like? It's like, man, this background music's too loud. Okay. Yeah, turn down your background music in your next video. Trust me, I have a couple of my first videos on YouTube where the background music balance wasn't good because it was like my 3rd or 4th video I ever edited. So, you make those mistakes and even years later, people will still comment, man, this background music is so, I hope you change this. And I'm like, bro, this was 5 years ago. Okay?
Yeah,
if I could change it, I would.
People are not that forgiving as you think they will.
And you have to be ready for that. But that's not even mean. It's just annoying. It's like, cool.
Yeah, life moves on. That's what I thought too. Like, that's what people said about album making. Like, if you make an album 10 years ago and that's how you sound like, well, that's a little photography of how you would sound like at the time. And you just keep getting better. And then 10 years from now, you'll sound totally different.
Exactly. And I think the big key here is being agnostic about outcomes and being more religious about the process. So I think that if you just make for the sake of making and the sake of trying to get better, eventually an audience will follow you. But if you just do it for an audience, in many times of burnout and other difficult life situations, coronavirus, pandemic, like if your why isn't big enough, you're gonna be inhibited from doing the thing that you need to do, which is build your business, build your brand, build your content. So I say just dive in and get an aggregate of the comments, not just one mean comment here, one positive comment here. It's like, what is the majority of what people are saying? And then kind of guide yourself in the direction.
Yeah. Do you have any methods in terms of knowing who your audiences are?
You can look at basic analytics.
at all of these social tools, right?
Yeah, I mean, YouTube and Instagram, especially if you have a business or a creator account with Instagram, which is an easy switch if you go to your settings. You can get analytics based off of like the time people are online and like generally where their countries are. So if you know that you have a bunch of followers in Tehran, and then there's like a big Persian holiday going on, and you make a cover of a traditional Persian song, like that's going to trend well among your followers because you know that many of them have this heritage and it's going to be important to them. We'll use another example. Let's say you're in China right now, but on the 4th of July, you drop a sick electric violin solo of America the Beautiful on 4th of July. Like if you crush it, and even if you don't speak a lick of English, like if people resonate, if Americans like that and they fuck with it, you could build an American audience.
Yeah.
So it's digital. It's global. This is a global market when it comes to content. I think that's where demographics are really good. Is like you can realize you can give people things that they didn't know they wanted from you, and you can possibly build a different audience.
I guess so. How do you keep up with these? Like, there's so many holidays in so many different places.
Follow Google Trends. You go to Google Trends and you see what people are searching for over that time.
Right.
And what I think is important is as you become a content creator, you start to notice seasons. Like in the spring, there are a lot of new YouTubers. Every spring, there's a bunch of brand new YouTubers, brand new podcasts, brand new entrepreneurial endeavors because it's new year, new me. I'm going to get my shit together. First quarter's over. Let's go into the second quarter building something, right? And then over the summer, you see a lot of the vlogs, a lot of travel, a lot of this, a lot of that, a lot of food blogging. And then when the fall starts kicking in, then you start seeing a lot of the style hauls. You see a lot of like, there's so many genres of content out there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think if you're really wanting to be a content creator, see what's being made first by people who aren't in your discipline, because those people have created methodologies for delivering contents and stories. Yeah. And you can take those templates and use them for your own niche to start. And that's a great way to start. But you'll notice like Halloween is when a lot of Halloween covers come out. Christmas, it's when Christmas covers come out. Like you can follow your national holidays and start creating content around that. Yeah. And then as you develop as a content creator, you can then figure out in the interim between the Christmas, between the Halloween, between Thanksgiving, like what is going to catch people's attention. And you have to marry that with what you actually want to do. Because that's important. Because if you're not having fun and people don't see you're having fun, they're not going to like it.
Yeah. So. Exactly. Well, here's my other question. For those musicians who just wanted to use this type of platform to promote their own work, right? Maybe they don't want to go into content creating 100%, like, navigating this as a real thing. They just wanted to put themselves out there, put their work out there. Is it even worth doing it? Or are you saying that it's either a 0 or 100%?
No, it's worth it. Here's the deal. Like, people think that it's not worth it if it doesn't blow up in 5-10 years. Like it's gonna disappear. Like we're gonna go back after this, right? It's like one day this is gonna be obsolete. We're not gonna use social media. It's not gonna matter. That's not true. So just start now, get your real estate. It's literally like the gold rush, the manifest destiny in the 19th century, where people in America were moving west and just grabbing land. Even if Native Americans lived there, they were just like, U.S. government, can you get these people off my property? That's kind of like what happened. I think that's without the genocide. That's what the internet is, right? It's your land grabbing, like where you want to tell your digital stories. And you're going to be forced to tell your digital story at some point. It's not a question of if, it's when. And then if you know that it's a when, are you going to do it for free? Those are a couple questions you got to reconcile with. This is going to happen whether you like it or not. You're going to have to participate whether you like it or not. Like if you want to be hired as an artist, People are not going to hire you if they can't hear you, bro. And no, they're not going to fly you out for a live audition. It's much better if you have a like years worth of discography and content creation of you doing your thing.
Yeah.
But it's scary. And I don't think people should do it to try to get famous. I think people should try to do it so that they build a body of work that they're proud of. And it's a showcase to people of your competency. I grew up with a chip on my shoulder because many people didn't think I was a competent player. And that bothered me to my core because I strive to be a competent player, a player that people wanted to listen to.
Yeah.
And I still struggle with it now. But I found that social media, for me, has been a huge reason I haven't quit.
Wow.
It's like if I fail, there's still people out there that are like, I still like the sound that you make though, bro. Which is like, what? I think every musician could do very, very well for having that sort of support system. And the only way you build that support system is by, like, if you want a garden that bears fruit, you have to put nutrients in the soil. You have to water it. You have to flip crops. You have to be diligent. You have to go in every day and really, really cultivate it. And I think an audience is the same way. If you're posting stuff and expecting people to care, you're never going to build an audience. If you're posting things and you're helping people or attempting to solve people's problems, like you are with this podcast, Linda, that's how you build an audience.
Right.
That's how
I love the way you put it. Like it's a support system for you as an individual for doing your own thing. There's always going to be people saying yes or nay out there, and better to hear them all and see how you could improve from it.
Yes. And being a certain age is important too. Because if you're a teenager out there trying to build your social media and trying to have a career, just focus on practicing. Just focus on getting better. You have time. This is the time to work now. Because once you leave, you're going to wish you'd practice more. You're going to wish you were better. Trust me.
I want to ask you, now that you have so many followers, what benefit has it brought to you? Financially, PR-wise, opportunity-wise?
Well, for better or worse, it gives you the advantage of having people have an opinion about you before you walk in the room. So you at worst, you have to convince people that you're a good idea when you walk in. Or people already think you're a good idea when you walk in, which is a great feeling. Monetarily, the jury is still out, but I've been able to get a little bit of influencer marketing here. However, I've recently, after doing influencer marketing relatively frequently for the past couple of years since I moved to Los Angeles, I've made the decision to slow down that operation. I'll be making significantly less money as a result, but I've found that, first of all, it doesn't make me happy. It causes me a lot of anxiety. Yeah. And when you're an influencer, you're a gatekeeper between any other entity's messages and your audience, right? Because as a content creator, it's you and your audience, right? So if a third party wants to advertise to them, you are the gatekeeper. You're the person to say yes or no to that. And I want to only say yes to things from now on that are incredibly enriching financially to me. Yeah. And this is important. It has to be both. And it is valuable. It is something that I use and I know that my audience will really benefit from. And I think that for me fits what I want to do more, because I want to have the authentic conversation. I don't want to be just a billboard.
Yeah. As an entrepreneur, know your value, know how to negotiate, and then knowing how to say no. I find those rules super golden. And keep honing in, man.
Linda, the biggest lesson I've learned is be enthusiastic about walking away. When a client feel your energy, you're enthusiastic to walk away. They're oh man, they're much more inclined to be more accommodating and less demanding. Yeah, I've done some really serious brand deals over the past couple of years, and they're very stressful. So if I could have less stress and more money in my bank account, that'd be great. Can I, since it's the Make Music, Make Money podcast, can I say one thing about making money?
Let's talk about it. Yes.
Building an email list. I've done everything wrong except social media. So that's why I feel like an unsuccessful entrepreneur, because I built a large audience, but I didn't build an email list. So if Instagram has feel some type of way about me, they could just delete my account. My account could get hacked, and I lose everything that I've built. That makes no sense. But if you own an email list and you have a real tied connection to your audience, that is more valuable than anything, because you can sell directly to them. And you can stay in contact. So if you get canceled, or like, not in the social sense, but if like Twitter bans you, like Alex Jones, and you can't post to their platform anymore, if you have a website, that's not a death sentence to your business. If you have an email list, that's not a death sentence to your business, because you can still get in touch with people that want to hear from you, want to support you, want to buy your products. So I don't want people to make the same mistake that I did. If you want to make money, you need to build your email list, because even if you aren't the type of person to sell online courses, if you don't make content as a content creator, if you're just a pure musician that only cares about the art, you only work with avant-garde contemporary composers, and you produce new music for your instrument, right? That's all you ever want to do. You still need to make money. You still need people to buy your track, right?
Still gotta eat.
You still gotta eat. So the only way to do that is, like, if people are engaged with your work through Patreon, through email list, through something, you can literally give it to them and they can give you value for it in exchange. So I also want people to realize that social media is only a tool. It is not the home base for your operations. You should own your home base, which is your own website or your own email list. Yeah,
that's very interesting. Yeah, thank you for putting that out here. Yeah, email list. I've heard about it. One email just worth so much more than likes, shares, interaction on social media. Yeah, one day, who knows? One of these businesses may go out of business and everything's gone. Yeah, home base. That's a very good idea.
I think the reason why we don't value it, and the reason I didn't, is because getting an email is kind of like,
old school.
I guess I'll email you. Yeah, and it doesn't give you the dopamine high of like a comment. It's like, this is great. They really think it's great. Oh my God. And your brain's just flooding with dopamine, right? You get an email, you're like, emojis. Oh my God. Email such and such and such at gmail.com. You're like, oh, right? But we should flip that perception, right? Because that email is like, relatively, if you look at my following, it's not that big. Let's be real. 121,000 people. And then knowing that if you had 120,000 email subscribers, you'd be a multimillionaire easily. You could become a multimillionaire in 3 months, after you build a good course. So it's economies of scale that I don't think we're taught as musicians, because we're like, you're so lucky. You're so lucky you get to play great music. You should be so lucky you get to get paid to do what you love to do, right? You should be thankful. And that's true. But we also devalue ourselves. And we don't understand economies of scale, because we don't play for economies of scale as classical musicians.
We don't. No.
It's 12 people in a room.
Yeah, I mean, as a musician, school doesn't train us for being an entrepreneur. And in this day and age, we are individually, everybody should be an entrepreneur for our own music, for our own brand. And luckily, this is something we can still learn on our own.
Lifelong learning. And I want people to feel like they're supported. I'm curious, and I want to ask this of your audience too, because I'm building some online courses to help people. I want to know what people want to do. Do they want to be influencers? Do they want to just make content for the internet, just put videos up? Like what sort of tools do they need to know? I want to be able to create a course that's valuable, that cuts people's time. Because here's the deal that I've learned with entrepreneurship. When you start out, the only valuable resource that you have is time in your hands. So you have to use that time to learn how to do stuff on YouTube, but that takes forever, and so many people are full of it, and there's so much unhelpful advice. So you have to sift through all that. I want to create a course that kind of cuts through all of that information overload and just tells you exactly what you need to do to get you to do the thing you want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just something.
If you're listening to this, we have multiple places for you to put on comments, feedback.
Yes.
Yeah. Drew wants to hear from you. I want to hear from you. Yeah. Exactly.
I do want. Oh.
All right. Tell us about your goal, man. I know you're rapping. Are you still rapping?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Artistically.
Just not publicly.
Come on. I heard your songs. They're
just
cool.
not rapping publicly right now. Thank you. I recently sent some viola stems to this rapper named Kota the Friend. He just dropped his album on Friday.
Nice.
It's brilliant. It debuted at number 1 on independent album charts and sank to number 2.
Congratulations.
It's beautiful. I played on only one track, but I'm hoping like in the future we can work together some more, because I really look up to this guy. Like he's fully independent musician. And if you are out there, you're trying to make your own music and you want to kind of like have a model of somebody who's building an actual music business from zero to world touring, Kota the Friend, just following his story and what he talks about is like super important. But my goal, yes, is multiple things, Linda. So what I want to do is I want to have my podcast also double as a live interview show that acts as a platform for up and coming and established artists to share their more authentic self. And some of the gems of wisdom that they've gained along the journey, as well as making them laugh. And the first step of that is this Faking Notes podcast that I have with my friend Trevor Baumgartner, both Juilliard grads. Definitely check that out, Faking Notes podcast. So I want to have some sort of touring element, live show element with that, if that's possible. If not, I'll have it on my own. So that's one.
Yeah.
Touring musician. 3, having the ability to travel the world as an music influencer, and collaborate with musicians from around the world, and learning more about different types of music and using all of that to inform the second one, which is being a touring rapper. And then number 4 is being a father. So those are the plans so far. But
you'd be a great father.
Thank you. That takes 2. The one thing, and this is probably the most important thing that I've realized, is that humans are storytellers. And if you look at our history, we are addicted to stories. We have to eat, we have to breathe, we have to have water, we have to have shelter, and we have to have stories. Telling stories. Just step back and look at your life. Figure out how much of your day do you spend consuming stories. And stories come in many forms. Books, movies, Netflix, social media, talking with your friend, listening to your mom talk about her day. We are addicted to stories. And so if you figure out a way to deliver stories, meaningful stories to people, you will never have a problem building a career.
Golden. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Linda.
Thank you so much for being on the show. And
thanks for having me.
We have Drew Alexander Ford. I'm going to read your bio. known online as ThatViolaKid, has a reputation not only as an accomplished performer, but also as one classical music's most recognizable online brands. Thank you so much for being on the show. I love you so much. And
Thank you, Linda.
subscribe
love
to the
back.
podcast. 5 stars. Great comment.
5 stars only.
Whatever. Yeah. All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah, see ya.
Japanese sunset to my left, the breeze on my neck, hear the beats in my head. Say cheese for me please, phone flash and a freeze. Traveling on the waves of time past, 4th dimension surfing with the board, I'm about to crash. Tidal forces pushing me under, I need to grasp. Memories on the surface of my mind, thoughts of you drowning at the vast ocean of time. I'm putting pen to paper in a land far away. Shouldn't let it haunt me like it does to this day. Words long overdue, I never had the nerve to say. I guess that's just the price I have to pay. I never understood the tears in your eyes. They were left frozen, still face tumbling all through the night. My terrorist theme was just for you, you listened to it right. The ending meant for you was real, but now we're out of time. Cause I'm moving on, I'm moving on, I'm moving on. It's now or never. I'm moving on, I'm moving on, yeah, I'm moving on. Because you're gone forever. I'm not here to talk about your faults. See, way back when we could've had it all. A dumbstruck love was not enough. Many things I should've done, so you always knew that you were the one. Should've told you that I loved you every day, for romantic every way. Proposals to make you quake, fireworks over the lake, midnight trips to steak and shake. Leaving you was a mistake. I'll forever cherish Portland, Maine. On again, off again, back and forth infinity. Figure eights of heartbreak drove me to insanity. Wasn't right for many years, not a single fling. Even started saving green so I could get a decent ring. But that was many years ago, it doesn't matter now. I look back at what we had and can't help but to smile. Love and miss your mom and dad, tell them I said hey. I'll always put a piece of you in every note I play, cause